everyone, welcome back. I am your host this evening, Retro of Retro and Wolf, and we're here playing some more Mass Effect 3. I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening out there. Let's go do some little side quest stuff real quick. I did some grinding off stream to get some things done that were rather boring to watch. Um, Trying to actually get through this fairly quickly because we've been playing the Mass Effect series for a few months now. And eager to move on to other games, but I promised everybody I'd finish this one out. I've played it so many times that it's if you haven't played the Mass Effect series, I highly recommend it. Good games, great games, amazing writing. Hey, Cam and Focus coming in. How you doing, bud?
Shepard, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Here to talk about you releasing Jonas Adair.
Damn, you too?
It's classified.
That's a fancy way of saying mind your own business. Look, there's no way I'm letting that psychopath out. The woman's unstable and...
You're doing good. You're just getting off work. That is awesome to hear. I do need to make one quick stream adjustment, or else it's gonna annoy the crap out of me. One moment. I'm still here, everybody. Just don't don't go anywhere. Doing good, just getting off work. It's a bit late to be getting off. Well, I guess you're an hour behind me on time zone, so I suppose maybe not quite as late. All right, great. Until earlier, I had it coming up. You name that Pokemon, and which is a thing that we do as a channel reward point when we play Pokemon games. But we're not playing a Pokemon game right now, and it was kind of annoying to have it keep coming up when I'm not playing a Pokemon game.
Sure thing. Go to the seat. Let me know when you've had a chance to talk to Sedaris.
Commander Shepard, John Luke.
That's a damning accusation.
Evidence of an alliance.
The Batarians had Reaper
The alliance raid.
The Batarians.
They maintain discreet.
I
I only need her data.
Which game are you playing? Is it still Andromeda? No, I haven't got to Andromeda yet. I'm still on 3.
So,
I'm tracking suspicion.
I thought we destroyed that information.
There were enough clues left for me to piece things together when if you don't mind.
I'd appreciate it.
Hey, it's Kasumi Goto from Mass Effect 2. Good times. Yeah, everything here is way too expensive. We can buy this. All right. Now let's go kill some things. We did some side quest stuff. I was actually playing this for about an hour before stream started because I was trying to grind out some of the more monotonous kind of just experience gaining stuff that, you do. Hey, Italian Gamer Joe. Thank you for coming in.
Now arriving at docking bay E24.
Let's go find something to shoot, shall we? This is Mass Effect after all. It's what you do. Screw diplomacy. Just shoot everything. Mass Effect's going alright. We've gone through 1, 2, now 3. Now on 3. About halfway through 3, I would say. Maybe actually technically, like, main storyline, technically halfway. But I've done a lot of the side quest stuff. So now that a lot of the side quest stuff is, like, knocked out, the rest of it's going to go pretty quickly, I think. I could almost jump right to the end of the game, like, right now if I wanted to. or real close to it. And then after Mass Effect 2, or Mass Effect 3. After I finish the Mass Effect trilogy, I think I'm gonna do one stream of Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda. And Mass Effect 4 has been officially announced, which I'm very excited about. We'll see how they do. BioWare has been a pretty solid company for me. They haven't really let me down. You've never played a Mass Effect game before. This looks really fun. It is. Okay, so we got a couple things. So let's see. Here's a good side mission we can do. So it's a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter with diplomacy and things involved. Garrus, my boy Garrus. I love Garrus, and we'll take Liara because we like biotics. So yeah, it's an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. Honestly, it has some of the most amazing writing of any game I have ever played. If you've ever played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, then you'll be familiar with Mass Effect because it's basically the same team and a lot of the same voice actors, especially after the Andromeda negativity that was happening a while back. So here's the problem with the Andromeda negativity. It lasted all of about a month because people who pre-ordered the game did get a broken game. However, they did a day one and like a 2-week patch. They did like a couple patches that just fixed the issues for the most part. Yeah, there's still a few glitches here and there. It was a rush project, definitely. But I actually really liked the game. I thought it was really good. Your boyfriend loves Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. He's played so many times. KOTOR 1, hands down, one of the most amazing RPGs. But this has a lot of the same voice actors involved. The voice actor for Bastila voices the female. If you take the female Shepherd route instead of the male, if you make your character female instead of male, she voices the male protagonist. Is the same actress, Jennifer Hale, who voices Bastila. She also voiced Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. So yeah, there's a bunch of people involved with both games. This was basically BioWare's first attempt at a fully voiced protagonist game in an RPG setting. Because in KOTOR your character isn't actually voiced. So this was their first attempt at a fully voiced game. You still have to finish Bayonetta 3. I haven't even started Bayonetta 3. I have so many other games on my list that Bayonetta 3 isn't even on my radar right now. I have it. I'm not even there to do it right now. Sniper rifle. Yes, the silent protagonist. Goodbye. And give me a pistol. Thank you. I think this is going to be probably going to be a pistol level. So I will tell this to anybody who hasn't played Mass Effect 4 but wants to play Mass Effect. The two most broken weapons in the game that they give you as an option on every mission are sniper rifles and pistols. In every sniper rifles. Bayonetta is awesome. Very different from a lot of other games, but I think a solid game. What makes me laugh about Bayonetta is the music choices. You know, it's like some contemporary versions of like classic songs like Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. And just the soundtrack is amazing. The game is very original. There's a lot of like lore and backstory and stuff to it, so it's very much not a shallow game by any means. The combat kind of reminds you of Kingdom Hearts, a lot of button mashing. Bayonetta games don't take themselves too seriously. Yeah, it does. It takes itself seriously when it needs to, right? So there are storyline elements that do take themselves seriously, but it knows when to be just a little ridiculous. But as I was saying with this, if you ever play Mass Effect, the sniper rifle and the pistol are insanely broken, and you can pretty much play all of Mass Effect 1 with a sniper rifle. In fact, that's what I did on stream. I played the entire first game, with the exception of just a few areas, strictly with the sniper rifle, which is kind of fun. The problem I run into, you were talking about physical backlog. The physical backlog, my game library is in the hundreds. I think last count was over 480 games in my physical library across 9 consoles. So like whenever people are like, "Oh, what are you gonna stream next?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted just to list them all, throw them in a hat, and draw one at random, because I could do a different game every day of the year for a year and a half. And I don't mean that to brag. I mean that to say that, quite literally, I never know what to play because I have too many stinking options. And on a lot of them, honestly, there's so many in there I've never played at all, or I've only played a level or two. I have a hard time parting with my collection, even the crap. So I end up keeping games that are just garbage, even so, just because I hope someday I think they'll be worth money. Like, I'll give you an example. It's right here. Insanely hard, impossible to beat unless you're a speedrunner. But the NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yeah, insanely hard. Or Sega's The Lion King, Beautiful Joe. I have played Beautiful Joe. Beautiful Joe is hilarious. That's how you are for your DS3, PSP, and Game Boy Advance games, right? See, I don't have as much for those as I have 4 binders of games on discs, going back to my like PS2, and then I still have all my like 64 games that I had as a kid, and I've got some Super Nintendo, some Sega, some NES.
I think we saved all those men.
I have ripped my games off my 3DS cartridge, and I'm capable of running them through an emulator, so I've been tempted to run some of my 3DS games like Pokemon X and Y, or
What's your status?
some of my Zelda games on 3DS.
On our way.
Oh yeah, some of my favorite PS2 games. Oh goodness. God of War, of course. God of War 1 and 2 were great. I liked a lot of the Star Wars games. Let me see if I have. I think I've got. Yeah. Here's my PS2 binder.
When we find it.
Some of my favorites, just kind of real quick, because I am in the middle of a war zone. For the Final Fantasy remakes of some of the Nintendo original Nintendo games. Hey, Wolf Angel. Final Fantasy X, of course, is great. God of War, yeah. Kingdom Hearts, the Lord of the Rings games, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. I have Return of the King on Xbox, as well as Third Age on Xbox. Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which also came out on the GameCube. Some original PlayStation Star Wars games like The Phantom Menace, Jedi Power Battles, Masters of Terras Kasai, which Cam and Focus can tell you is probably the worst game ever made. Rebel Assault 2, Star Wars Racer Revenge, which is a very weird version of Star Wars Pod Racer, like the original Star Wars Racer for the 64. Yeah, it's really weird. Crash Bandicoot. So, what ended up happening was that, so like as a kid, I had a regular Nintendo as a kid, and then I didn't get another game system until I got a Game Boy Pocket and Pokemon. The next console that I got was a Nintendo 64. So I missed out owning a Super Nintendo, a Sega, a PlayStation 1. So as I got older, I've been retroactively getting games that I either played at friends' houses or I played ROMs of, or that I was just a big fan of the franchise. So I've retroactively, as an adult with adult money, gone back and gotten games that were, you know, nostalgic for me. And that's actually where retro comes from. I used to have a channel on YouTube called Retro Piece Theater, and it was a play off of the old British BBC show Masterpiece Theater. And so I just had the show Retro Piece Theater, and I would play exclusively retro games. That was my whole thing. So, and then retro, when I started streaming, it just got shortened as a nickname of retro, just kind of stuck. But yeah, like I'm big on nostalgic and old games. Let's see, Cam said one of your favorite PS2 games was Inuyasha and the Forbidden Mask, as close to old school Final Fantasy as any anime game ever got. I'm familiar, have not played it, may have to look it up. We do have a channel reward point available for people that if you want to spend 3,000 points, you can choose the game that I will play next. If the game, I promise, if you ever redeem that, I promise that you will. I will play it for at least one stream. If it's good, I may do more than that. If it's terrible, you're going to get one stream, and you're probably going to get me making fun of it the entire time. So if you've got something terrible you want me to play, that's also a lot of fun. We also have channel reward points on there where you can make me sing, you can make Wolf sing when she's with me, or when she's streaming, or you can make us duet, because we're both singers. Although if you saw my stream last night, you wouldn't have known that, because my voice was just not having it. Let's see. Red. Wolf has redeemed Pick RGB Lighting, which is a newer one as well, going red. Alright, are there any retro games you remembered as great but were awful upon replay? Yes. One moment. Yes. As a kid, so my parents had a friend that was their age when I was younger, and my dad was like 22 when he had me, so like when I was like 9, my parents were still like in their like late 20s, early 30s, right? So, oh, thanks, cheers, thank you for joining the Discord. We are rebuilding it. It went dead for a while, so we're in the process of rebuilding it. So please post in there, go nuts, self promo, all of it, pictures, everything, go nuts. So a friend of mine worked for Blockbuster, or a friend of my parents rather, worked for Blockbuster. He was in his early 30s, or late 20s, early 30s. Anyway, because he worked there, he got to rent consoles and take them home and rent games. And he had this, and I remember one time, like, my parents and them were, like, together, and so, like, my sister and I were, like, stuck in the living room just playing video games while they, like, played board games or whatever. So I remembered playing this. X-Men on the Sega Genesis, and I tracked this down. It was very, very difficult to find a original copy of this, a working copy. I tracked it down, got it, because I had all these cool memories. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, you could play as Gambit or Nightcrawler, or you could play as Cyclops and Wolverine, Jubilee, and then you could call in other X-Men to help. Yeah. Cool. So you could call in other X-Men to help. Like, they'd come on screen and they would do their power and, like, kill everybody. So you could call Storm in. You could call in yeah. The game is actually buggy and glitchy, and the jumps are hard because the whole thing is that like you're in the danger room, and the danger room is going haywire, and it keeps putting you in these insane environments. Like the first boss you fight is Juggernaut in the middle of a forest. It's just a very bizarre game, super hard. But the sequel to it was awesome, which was X-Men 2: The Clone Wars, which I think is hilarious. But that was at X-Men 2: Clone Wars. And I got both of these together. I happened to be in a used game shop, and they just happened to have them both. And I might have paid $15 for both of them. Total steal. So yeah, they both work. I do play them, and maybe I'll play them on stream sometime. I'll hook up the Genesis and play that. Let me get back to the Mass Effect action. What was cool about the second one was that you had other characters available too. Like Beast was playable, Psylocke, Gambit and Nightcrawler were made a little more functional. Cyclops was almost unbeatable. Wolverine was actually sort of useless because, yeah, he had his healing factor, but they focused on his claws being the mutation. So, like, you didn't have unlimited power, so to speak, to use your mutation, right? You had a power bar, and as you use your mutation, that would go down, and you'd have to replenish it. Well, whenever he had his claws out, his power bar would go down. And I'm like, his claws were kind of part of his mutation, but they were really more of his physiology. Like his actual mutation was more of his healing factor, and that wasn't something they gave you. So it was like, here, let's put Wolverine in, let's make the claws his power instead of his healing factor. So you don't get his healing factor as much. He is harder to like kill overall, but you have to be real close to your enemies to do any significant damage. So Wolverine, like as cool as Wolverine is, not the most useful character in that game. Oh, big son of a gun. You know, Garrus, it doesn't do any good if you shoot at him when he's on the other side of a pillar. Shotgun. I don't use the shotgun much, but for some of these guys, you can really get a pretty good shot off on them. You can take like a whole section of armor down, or more if you get point blank. Just missed. It's funny how diverse Wolverine's mutations were: claws, animal senses, reflexes, immortality. Oh yeah. So it's, and that was what was kind of like. The thing is though, is that Marvel had the ultimate payoff for that. Is when they introduced the Old Man Logan storyline. Because now suddenly Wolverine's mortal and can die and does die. So the Old Man Logan concept, where in the movie Logan, if I remember right, it was it basically heavy metal poisoning slowed his mutation, his healing factor down so much that he could die and he wouldn't be able to recover. If I remember, that was the reason. It's been a while since I've seen it. Great movie, just a very emotionally hard to watch for me as a father with little girls. Very emotionally hard to watch. So the concept that was like, you have all these generations and all these comics where Wolverine is basically immortal, totally unstoppable, and then suddenly you introduce a comic where he can die, and that to me was kind of Marvel's. It was brilliant, personally. They did the same thing with Superman. They killed off Superman a couple times, but I remember the first time they killed off Superman, it was kind of a whole mind trip of like, wait, what do you mean Superman can die? And then, of course, you have Deadpool, who can't die, will never die. But that's part of the gimmick of Deadpool. Like, it's comedic at that point. Not, you know, it doesn't take it, it's not supposed to take itself seriously. And it was funny because when Wolverine was introduced, he had the claws. Do you think every major superhero's died at some point or another? Yeah. And of course, they rarely ever find a way for them to stay dead, but you know, they do kill them off, or they just switch to a different timeline. That happens a lot. Yeah, they kind of, one thing I do remember is that Wolverine had the metal claws to begin with when they first developed him.
Commander Shepard.
But the whole thing with the bone claws and the adamantium, like, that all came later. Originally, his claws were treated like it was a mutation. And, I mean, yes, his claws are a mutation. People don't have claws. But the metal claws were this mutation. And then they made a whole thing later where they were bone claws and they were, you know, they coated them in metal and all of that. The Weapon X program. Wolverine's first created the claws were part of his gloves. Is that what it was? That explains how they came out, because they didn't come out of his knuckles, they came out of the top of his gloves. And you never ever saw him. I don't really remember it originally. It wasn't until he like went into like the whole Weapon X program.
Their sacrifice.
Send me the nav.
Cerberus bomb. What the hell is going on, Commander? And what do the Turians have to do with it?
Coordinates Victus gave me place it in the Celtic Valley. It's a heavily populated area. That's all I know.
My gut says something's not right here.
What do you suggest?
Get the Primarch to come clean.
I can't skip past this too much. Kind of an important plot point.
Impressive work on Tuchanka. I'm grateful that...
Why didn't you tell me about the Cerberus bomb?
Ever watch X-Men Evolution? I loved X-Men Evolution.
What else are you
I'll tell you my favorite thing that X-Men Evolution introduced. They were trying to discover the nature of Kurt's teleportation as Nightcrawler. And so Beast developed a device that would essentially slow down his teleportation. And that's when he realized that, like, the sulfur and everything, he teleported into an alternate dimension and moved through space in the alternate dimension and then reappeared. But it happened so fast he never knew it, and that the creatures of the alternate dimension weren't aware. But when he slowed down, suddenly the creatures became aware, and like one of them followed him through the portal. Like, to me that was brilliant, but it also gave a way to explain away how when he does his BAMF teleportation, that he you know, the sulfur smell comes from basically this hell dimension that he's at. You think I believe X-23 was introduced in that show. Yep.
play strategy games?
What I think is interesting about the X-Men universe is that as much as everybody wants to hate Magneto, to some degree, Magneto was always right. Magneto had the right idea, but the wrong implementation. He wanted to develop the Brotherhood of Mutants to resist the hate and anger, but he wanted to do it by violence and control, which created a power struggle. right? But he wasn't wrong. Xavier, if anything, for all of his brilliance, Xavier was deluded. To think that
Cerberus bomb.
he could present just straight
What do you mean, Turian?
peace. You know, it doesn't work that way. What do I think of Doc and Wolverine's half Japanese son? I'll be straight honest with you. I don't know enough to have an opinion. I know he exists. I know very little about him because I feel like at some point it was suggested that Wolverine couldn't have kids as part of his mutation or something. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. He had so many lovers over 200 years that I'm not surprised that he's got at least one kid out there. That's actually his kid, not a clone.
With all this activity, the Krogan
But I don't know enough about Doc. I would have to read up on him.
Copy that.
I've been out of X-Men since... I've been hard out of X-Men comics for a long time, so I'm not... I'd have to get reacquainted with a lot of the story and what they've done with it. Led him just a little too much. Even though, like, I know intellectually I'm not in all that much real danger from the environment, this has a great way, this whole battlefield right here has a great way of making you feel like you're getting caught right in the middle of the chaos. Are there any X-Men stories you remember that you'd like to see adapted into live action? I guess I just want to see it done right, you know? I think more than like a specific story, I just want to see them done right. I want a Gambit that isn't a joke. I want, you know, I think a
No trigger, no explosion.
oh, we were just talking about it. Yeah, it is chaotic. I think X-Men Evolution would be fun to see turned. See, I'm gonna change this out for something just a little more rapid fire. Then that'll work. And sniper rifle. What else have I got? Yes, please. We'll try that. I think X-Men Evolution would be interesting to see. You know, they kind of tried to do that a little bit with the X-Men First Class idea, and I don't know. I want them to stay true to the source material to some degree, instead of feeling like everything they're doing is, you know, alternate universe all the time. Okay, I don't know what this is, but apparently it's some kind of harpoon gun. Let's see what happens. Let's see, can I... Oh, course. He's standing just right. Really? Yeah, I kind of don't like this gun. I like my other sniper rifle. Right? That's kind of how it feels. There be the white whale. Oh, that was kind of cool. It just like pinned him to the ground. That was amusing. Anyone else? Oh, wait, can I harpoon between in the mail slot? Yes, you can. Ah, that's fun. Whoa. Okay, I'm suddenly having a little fun with this. Was not expecting that. Let's go over here. Maybe. Come out, wherever you are.
Over to the left, Shepard. A way out.
Shepard pulls out the harpoon gun. First words out of his mouth. Call me Ishmael.
Pretty extreme, but those were desperate times.
All this to lose everything.
There's a
in flash.
literary reference for anybody in the crowd.
Monstrous.
Imagine how people would react if they joined the stream now. He's saying, I'm gonna poon this guy.
Good work, Lieutenant.
I have to arc this thing. What? But that's kind of fun. Not gonna lie. I kind of like what it does. I was not factoring I had to account for elevation with my shot. Okay. Considering like no other gun in the game accounts for elevation. But this.
Copy that. I don't like the sound of that.
That works. Just don't give them a way out.
Cerberus is leaving.
What? Seriously go between his legs? Like, really? Stand up. Come on. Stand up. Goodbye. This is kind of fun now.
We'll have a better view up the ramp.
Like, it's not the easiest thing to shoot because you have to account for elevation, but I kind of like what it does. It packs a punch, I guess you could say.
I can't believe it remained undetected for so long.
He must have been far enough underground to stay hidden. Cerberus had to dig it out.
I hope Victus knows what he's doing. We won't get a second chance. We gotta move, Shepard.
All right.
Roger that. We're on our way.
Gotta go deal with a really big bomb.
With Cerberus evacuating, the bomb should be clear.
I don't think so. Guess we'll
You'd
bring out the safe.
think that would be the case. Packs a poon. Ha. Aw, come on. Really? Yeah, we're gonna go back to something with a little more rapid fire and range. Something I don't have to arc my shots as much.
Looks
Like, that would be fine in, like, Oblivion or Skyrim or a game where archery is a thing, but I didn't... I have... All the times I have played this, I have never loaded in a harpoon gun, so that was new.
Cerberus set up a firewall around the trigger mechanism to slow us down. I need to create a bypass. That'll take time. But like you said, no trigger, no explosion. We'll make sure you understood. And thank you for making sure I did.
Just make it right.
Thank you for the lurk, Wolf Angel.
Commander!
Hope you have a wonderful evening.
We'll handle Cerberus.
I mean, you're like 30 feet away from me in the other room, but hope you have a wonderful evening.
Nobody gets past us.
Either that or that's her politely signaling me, like, come to bed already. It's been a long day. Get some sleep.
Here come reinforcements.
I need more time, Commander.
I will say this in this game, enemies are kind of crap at using cover most of the time.
Here they come.
Need more time.
They're not letting up.
Watch for more shuttles.
Almost there.
Looks like it's basically just maintaining this battle zone. Problem is, against these guys, I'm such a high level, and I've got so many weapon upgrades that it's kind of irrelevant, really, including my shield. So I can kind of take a lot of hits and just keep punching back. It doesn't really,
Shepard,
like,
Take that thing down.
end my day because even this guy's not that bad. I say that as I'm about to die. Let's see. Hey, I wonder what the harpoon gun will do to him. That'll be fun to see. Shall we? Oh, it's actually doing a fair amount of damage. Oh, wait. Harpoon.
Protect him.
That's fun.
He's taking fire.
Protect him.
Programming the bypass.
Ah, Garrus. You magnificent person, you.
I'm in. Spirits. Cerberus hacked the trigger mechanism. It's set to detonate. Disarm it. No time. I have to separate the trigger from the bomb. Now. Cover me.
never hesitated. Whatever he was before, he'll be remembered for this.
What will the Turians think about this, Garrett?
Hard to say. Sacrifice him more as expected. He did us proud, living your life for the cause. Society.
He did what he had to do when it counted.
Yes.
Yeah, there's very few happy endings in this game. There's a lot of people in this game that at different points will make the sacrificial play, and always in different ways.
Good work on Tujunka, Commander. Stopping that bomb prevented the war between the Turians and the Krogan. We can't afford that kind of division right now.
Joker said the Krogan are recovering the bomb.
They moved in, won't allow Turians to send in recovery crews to help.
Understandable.
The situation is fragile at the moment. With Rex and the Primarch aboard the North Sea, you've got a situation brewing. We don't have a solid alliance between those two yet.
Yes, sir.
Keep the peace between the two people on the ship trying to kill each other.
The genophage wasn't enough. You had to plant a bomb on my planet.
The decision was made hundreds of years ago. So much has changed.
Not enough to tell us about the bomb, coward.
Hey! We can't let the past rip us apart.
Primarch, you had a bomb. And Rex, in the Turian's place, you would have done the same.
Shepard,
It's over. His own son died today, making this right.
Please, Commander.
yes, fine. Shepard, you make your point.
We do.
I understand your reservations before, Commander.
Secrets get people killed.
Yes. The hardest. Your sacrifice will be recorded in the histories of the 9th Platoon. Something any father would be proud of.
Alright, where are we at? Well, we're getting there. Alright, let's go do something else. Let's go shoot something. I need more things to kill. Although we're almost to the point where it's gonna get kind of dicey.
The one who joined Cerberus. Heard from him? No, I cut ties. Reported him, or whatever. You've got his messages, Commander. Put that crap on my record.
We're not gonna cure the genophage just yet. Because if you do, it kind of sucks. Especially before you get to a certain part of where you have some DLC stuff. So if I can avoid doing that, I will. For now.
Shepard, Cerberus is landing forces away from the Tujunka battlefields. Their target seems to be an ancient ground-to-space cannon facility that hasn't been used since the Krogan rebellions. The site has no obvious military advantage, and the Krogan are spread too thin to deal with it.
Do we know what Cerberus is up to?
No, but we do know that Cerberus doesn't act without a plan. Get in there and stop them. Find out what they're up to while you're at it.
We'll get it done.
See to it. Knock it out.
If I remember, this one isn't too terribly long. It's pretty much all dealt with one main arena.
All right. Let's find the control room for those cannons.
Just a lot of
In our way.
Sounds simple enough.
these guys to deal with.
Commander, I have a visual on an inbound Cerberus cruiser. The cannon fire is clearing the way. If that ship needs
The other thing I found useful when you play this is if you have a moment, just reload. Like, don't wait for the auto reload. You'll move a lot faster through battle zones that way. Particularly if you have something like this that reloads really quickly. Very useful. think we gotta go. Yeah, we gotta go this way.
I've rerouted the power to the main console. Heading back now.
Oh, wasn't too bad.
Cannon control restored. Targeting enabled. Coordinates, Lieutenant.
Uploaded.
Fire! Not the kind of Krogan relic I expected.
Direct starboard hit, Commander. Target breaking up. Repeat. Direct hit. That's a beautiful sight.
All right. Good work, everyone.
Nice. Yep, quick mission. Quick and easy. Kill lots of things, you know. Always a good time.
Shepard, with those Krogan cannons operational, Cerberus has actually given us the advantage in that system. The enemy's pulling back, but we think they'll try to seize the facility again.
Seems likely.
I'm sending an Alliance team to keep it secure. They've got a foothold in a strong defensive position, thanks to you.
Glad to hear.
All right.
Cerberus seemed popular for a while. They were fighting the collectors while the council sat and watched.
And now they're killing civilians and attacking our allies.
Rhonda?
All right. We're not going to deal with really any more of Tuchanka at the moment. Let's go see what else we can get up to. Let's see. Yeah, we got some artifacts that we have somebody who's looking for. Been lost out in Kite Nebula. Let's go see if we can find those real quick before the Reapers find us.
I found something.
Oh, well, we got some fuel. That works. And what we got here? Oh, weapon upgrade kit. Alright, I'll take it. One more item here. Oh. There it is. That looks like the item we were looking for.
Faster than light.
But while we're here, let's actually I think yeah, I gotta go to a different, I gotta go all the way down here to find actually what's missing. or what was stolen or lost or whatever. However they ended up in this galaxy.
Signal confirmed.
Black market artifacts. Yay. Is there more? No. Okay. And the Reapers, they be coming.
Reapers eluded. Faster than light jump successful.
Yay, what do we got? Ooh, fuel. Nice.
Evasion successful. Reapers eluded.
Let's go back to the Citadel. Spend some money. I don't really think there's anything else I'm going to do on stream tonight. So I want to thank Cam and everybody who came in and was hanging out. It means a lot. Italian Gamer Joe, Wolf Angel, of course, anybody who happened to pop in. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm gonna head off for the evening. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Wolf will be back tomorrow, noon Eastern time, to play more Assassin's Creed. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.